Welcome, students. In today's lesson, we are going to do some editing. We are going to use an editing checklist. So I have my whole story now here. I did a rough write earlier this week. I've added some dialogue now. I added some dialogue on Tuesday, and yesterday I added a strong ending to the end. And so now I'm still not sure about my title. I had some ideas, but I don't really like the idea that I came up with. So I'm going to leave that till the end, till I've really finished my story, to think of what this story should be called. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into Schoology here, and I see today's work here, and this right here is what we call a revising and editing checklist, and it has some features of my writing that I want to take a close look at. Did I create a story, right? Do I have a story that has parts? Like, is it clear like what the situation is in my story? A situation is like, am I at an apple orchard? Am I at a playground? Am I at the beach? Like, is there something that's happening? Create a narrator and or characters. So does the story kind of give you the feeling that somebody is telling a story, that someone's talking, or that there are people in the story? Create a sequence of events that unfold naturally. So does it feel like there's a beginning, a middle, and an end? Use dialogue. So are people talking in the story to help kind of develop the story? Does dialogue sort of show how characters respond to the situation? Like, can you tell when they talk what kind of people they are? Use some transition words. So looking for those transition words that we started using last week. Creating a strong ending to the story. So when you're reading it, can you tell like what kind of story is this? Is this what kind of ending this is? This is a cliffhanger? Is this a tragic ending or a happy ending? How does it make you feel? Use capital letters and punctuation. So do we see capital letters at the beginning of each sentence and a period at the end of each sentence? Do we use quotation marks when people are talking? Those are the things we're really going to focus on today. And spell words so the reader can understand them. So kind of looking through it, do we see any spelling that we can revise or change? And at the end here, we'll also really we'll give some good positive feedback and maybe something that we're wondering after reading this story. So when we use a revision checklist like this, we're going to choose one item on the checklist and go through our writing, and we're going to use that item as the lens. So imagine here that we have a lens, like create a story situation, or does it create a story? And we're going to read through the story and see if it creates a story. So for each one of these, we'll read through the story just kind of quickly and look for that one thing. So for the first one here, does my story create a situation? So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start reading. So I might say, it all began when I was driving in my car on my way to a vacation in Washington State. I was smiling, even though the car was crammed. Oh, so I just noticed I'm missing the word though, even though. Maybe I'll put a little note there for myself to come back later and add that. Even though the car was crammed full of luggage and screaming children. A big smirk had spread across my face as I imagined myself sailing across the Puget Sound, a big ocean bay on the coast of the Pacific Ocean, with my best friend Arthur. Okay, so does it tell a story situation? Okay, well, I want to be able to write and check on this, check on this. A couple things I can do. I can copy and paste this. I can take this here and copy it. Can I paste this in Notability? Let's find out. I'm not even sure. Maybe I can just copy paste it right into Notability. So I selected it, and now if I use the scissors, maybe the text. So let me paste. Okay, so I guess I can just copy paste this right into Notability. That's one way to do it. So does it create a story situation? Yes, it does. Okay, actually that was really easy. That was kind of a nice way to do this. So I just opened Notability. I selected all of this. I went into Notability and did paste, and I just pasted it right into Notability. So that's one way to do this. I think honestly the better way to do it though is to let's see here. I think the better way to do this though is to go to Schoology here And to view attachment, so I'll view this like that. And then to send it to Notability. And that'll give me a nice, I'll just add it to my story here. And then that'll be right on the bottom. Cool. So now when I scroll down here, I should see, oh, there's my revision checklist. That worked out really nicely. There we go. So create a story or situation. Yes, it does. Now, remember too that you could also just write this in a notebook if you wanted to write all of this down, but I recommend just doing this right here in Notability, much easier. Okay, next up on my checklist, does it create a narrator and characters? So I can hear that in the story I am talking, and let's kind of read the next paragraph here. Now, you'd read all the way through this each time. So Arthur builds wooden boats, and he loves the ocean and sailing, and he promised me someday he'd take me out sailing on his new little sailboat the next time we visited him. I was so excited it felt like I had rolling waves in my stomach. When we arrived, we greeted each other with our old secret handshake from when we were kids. I told Arthur how excited I was about sailing in his new sailboat, and he delivered some bad news. I'm afraid the boat has a hole. It won't float. Now I'm reading here, I'm noticing there's, oh, maybe there are some quotation marks. They're just hard to see. Notice how each time somebody talks, I start a new paragraph. I leave a little space here, and when he's done talking, when it's my turn to talk, that is, I start a new paragraph. His words hit me like a harpoon. My enthusiasm sank into despair. But then a mischievous grin spread across my face. You fix wooden boats, right? Yes, I do. What are you getting at? Asked Arthur suspiciously. So, I see a spelling error. Oh, no, that's right. Suspiciously. Well, couldn't we head to the boatyard and fix the boat? Okay, I'm just going to come down here. Now, you would read through the whole thing. Do I create a narrator and or characters? Yes, we have Arthur and me are talking. Do I create a series of events that unfolds naturally? Yeah. Do I use dialogue and description to develop the story? Yes, I do. Do I use dialogue to show how the characters respond? Yes. Do I use a variety of transition words or phrases? Let's see here. Let's double check. Do I kind of start it off with some good transition words? It all began. When we arrived, we greeted each other. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see here. We spent all night fixing up the boat. The next day, we pulled out the boat. That night, we sat around the dinner table. Yeah, I have some good transition words here. And do I create a strong ending to the story? Let's find out. So that night, we sat around the dinner table eating a well-deserved meal. Wow, that was so fun, I said, and it was totally worth fixing up the sailboat. Yeah, said Arthur. Tomorrow I'll have to take you out on my other sailboat. It's even more fun to sail. You have another sailboat, I shouted. Why didn't you mention that? Well, said Arthur, with a shrug, you never asked. Do I have a strong ending? Yeah, I use a kind of a funny ending because I want this reader to feel kind of happy towards the ending there. Do I use capital letters and punctuation? Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I got some capital letters here, but if I see any spots that need capitalization, I'll come in here. Like, it's hard to tell if that's capital. I might add a couple little notes here where I need a capital letter or two. Okay, so do I use capital letters? Yes, I do. And do I spell words so the reader can understand them? Yeah, and if I see any errors, I might add those later. And finally here, I am going to we are going to is there something that I'm wondering, or something I really enjoyed about my story? So I might just say I really liked all the details. Something I wonder, or that I might add, is like, what was my old secret handshake? I'd love to see what that handshake was, because it sounds like it might be kind of cool. That might be a cool detail to add. So that's what we're going to do, and then when we're done here, we just take this from Notability, and we press the Send button, Other Apps, Share a Note. It'll just take a moment. Then we're going to copy to Schoology. And then once we're in Schoology, we're going to submit to assignments. And we're going to look for elementary class. And then in here, we will be looking for, we can just search. This is called narrative writing. You see it right on the top of the page there. Narrative let's see here. Or maybe editing. Let's see if we can find it that way. Well, one way or the other, we're going to go through here and find this week's assignment and put it right in here. We'll just select it and press submit. That's all for today's lesson. Have some fun with this. Can't wait to see your great writing.